So yeah, I'm going to talk about responsive user experience. And the biggest problem with responsive user experience is that when people hear responsive, they stop listening to you. It's literally like, oh yeah, responsive, that was scaling images and stuff, right? No, it's not. It's just much, much more than just that. Right, so first of all, a little word about me. I'm from Zurich, well, born in Germany. We work at the R&D team. I have a couple of colleagues here. And we're doing mobile applications, and we're trying to make them with web technologies, so we're kind of spearheading the new trends and stuff, and we're failing a lot, and we're learning a lot, which is cool. And I love the web, especially Firefox. So this is a very interesting thing. Okay, so first of all, you may not have heard about hybrid applications. So what are hybrid applications? Well, it's just web technologies bundled in a native shell with access to all the device APIs. So if you have a native functionality, you can hook that into your web application that's running in a hybrid context in a container, like PhoneGap.js, PhoneGap, for example. So you get a lot of fun stuff with that. I'm going to spoil a little bit. We work a lot with Angular. Some bits and pieces are in Lungo.js. We have a bridge between them. I love Cordova. I love PhoneGap for the time being, until we finally get all the cool stuff directly in the web and the web as the platform. Okay, so when we started looking at mobile, I kind of got in a little fight with our CTO, because I was like, yeah, mobile nice and fine, but if you want to do the real work, you still need like a laptop and something with a bigger screen that you can actually work on, right? And so he asked me, will you work on your phone? And I said, hell no, I wouldn't. But will you work on a tablet? Hell no, I wouldn't. I want a real computer around me and a big screen to actually see things on and work with, right? But then he asked this question, what if you would actually have a mouse, a keyboard, and a big screen, and it feels like exactly working on a big computer, and your files and all the things that we work with are in the cloud anyway? And I was like, damn, he's right. I'm actually using Cloud9, so I have an online kind of IDE. I have my files with Google and all these other wonderful cloud services. So I work on GitHub a lot. I even use their web interface and workflow. So why really bother with a computer? I do not really install anything except my browser, and then work with my browser a lot. So this kind of seemed interesting. So we tried it. And it's possible today. So we sat down with a big screen, an iPad, or actually an iPhone, hooked a Bluetooth keyboard, a Bluetooth mouse on them, and used AirPlay to work on a big screen. But there is a big problem, which is it sucks. Okay? It's a fun thing to actually try, but the problem is that the browser on the iPhone, or on any device really, doesn't actually work in the context of that. They go like, oh yeah, I'm this little screen, and then it gets mirrored over there, so you literally, if you kind of, for example, if you work on a spreadsheet, you get 2 columns on such a big screen. That doesn't make sense. So I'm like, that sucks. Can't we really, do something about that? You can change that. We can change that. We have lots of capabilities and possibilities today already. And yeah, that didn't really, all right. Cool. That's why you do tech checks. Anyway, so what really matters is, where is your user? What is your user doing? And how does the user interact with your application? So for example, the context could be, I could literally be sitting on a sofa in front of my big TV with my tablet. Why do I not use that big screen over there to display more content than I can fit on my small screen? It could also be that I'm running around with my mobile phone through a city, like, oh, I need to go to this venue over there, and then I have this little thing, and if I go like that, then it actually starts turning, and I go like, and why? Why? We have voice or text-to-speech, we have speech recognition. Why can't I just rush out of the metro saying, I need to go to LXJS, and then it goes like, I'm going to search a route to LXJS, and then it goes, here's the route, next turn, left. It's not that hard. You can do that. So the first goal should be, identify what your user is doing. Is he driving a car? Is he sitting in a train? Is he flying around the world? Is he walking? Is he running? Is he sitting in his office? Just because you're sensing that you're on a mobile device does not mean anything these days. The second thing is the device. And when it comes to responsiveness, lots of people still say, oh yeah, responsive is when you have a desktop version and a phone version, and if you have enough budget, then you do a tablet version as well. If you're one of these people, I'm gonna hunt you down, because that's actually not true. It is about the capabilities. What can your device do? Because a tablet is not really a tablet, a phone is not really a phone. What you can do on your latest and greatest Firefox OS phone might not be what you can do on your Android or iOS or Windows phone, and may not totally be what you can do on your old Nokia, I don't know what, that has internet access, barely internet access. It's about capabilities, what you can do and what you can't do. Do you have a large screen around? Do you have GPS here? Do you know how bright the environment is? If you do, yay, use that information. If you don't know that, fall back to sensible defaults. So there's a couple of interesting APIs that you may or may not have heard of. The boring ones are not on this list. So ambient light is something that was just talked about by Robert. Then we have proximity, which is also an interesting thing. So you could stop your music playing when the user actually takes the phone to do something. It's got, I do not want to have a call and the call ends and then Spotify or something starts playing again and goes blah, oh, damn it. You can even sense if the user is idle or not. So you know, is my user actually still around? No? In that case, I do not draining battery. Seriously, why are you making network requests when your user isn't even looking? So if you know that your user hasn't been around for a couple of minutes, calm down, enlarge or shrink afterwards the refresh intervals, for example. You can also figure out on what connection your user is, as we heard already. So if you know that the connection is really good and you're on a stable Wi-Fi connection, hey, use that information. You can totally stream HD videos or whatever. But if you know that that man over there is on 2G internet edge somewhere around the countryside, you don't want to do that. So please make it easier for me as the user by sensing these capabilities. You can also use activity, which is not on iOS as far as I know. It's a Google thing they announced at the last I.O. So you can even figure out if your user is sitting or if he's moving around. This is in red because it's actually not standardized and there's no way directly interacting with that. But with PhoneGap or any other hybrid framework, as I said, you can build a plugin. I'm actually working on a plugin right now to actually use that from your web technologies inside the PhoneGap shell, for example. And then there's second screen. That's another thing that I'm working on. There's a W3C group that just started. The draft is literally empty. You're very invited to start joining. And these are the more boring things. So you know if the device is in landscape or portrait mode, you know kind of where the user is if they have good GPS connection. And you can use the camera. So there's one demo that actually works on Chrome beta, and I think now in stable as well. If you have your tablet, and it uses the camera. It's a website. It's a website with some text. It's an article about actually responsive user experience and design. And it senses, it detects your face. So it senses how far you are away from the screen, and it resizes the text accordingly. That's nice. Especially because when I read, I'm like, that. And then I go like, hey, honey, look at that. That's interesting, right? So it should rescale. Pretty nice. Interesting demo. And there's much more that you can do. These are a couple of ideas that we came up with. Like, you could, for example, say, hey, Martin is right now not in the office, so he's probably interested in his private email. Or, hey, Martin is actually in the office, and we sensed that Martin usually checks his work emails more frequently when he's at work, so I'm going to show that inbox first. Right now, my Gmail also always shows the inbox that I have last checked, which does not necessarily make sense. You could also, as I said, adjust the update intervals. Or you can also, what you can do with the second screen thing is, I could have a presentation here, and this presentation shows me the time I have left, and some notes, and I can then switch over to the actual slide and go like, yeah, fine. And then I connect it to this wonderful screen over there. and then this thing there shows my slides, and this thing here shows my clock and thingamy. I actually prepared something like that for the Chromecast. I literally got my fingers on a couple of days ago. The problem with that is I didn't get whitelisted on time. Sorry for that. And there's many, many other possibilities that you have and that you can go over. And they are awesome. And it's really, really fun to work with these things and play around with the possibilities you have. And I don't know why people stop doing that. Whenever they start thinking about their application, they always think about, yeah, you know, my website or my application should look good on this touch screen, and that's about it. Think beyond the screen. Think especially beyond touching the screen. There's so many different cool stuff. There's the web speech API. There's the Situation.js, I think it is, or Speak.js, which uses speech synthesis. So you can have a website that actually works with just JavaScript, so you can have your mobile website talking to the user when it's appropriate. With Firefox OS and the WebFM API, you can sense if there's a headphone plugged in. And if you know, hey, my user's on headphones, why do you just go doo-doom when an email arrives? You could also try to, for example, speak the subject. So I'm listening to music. My music is interrupted anyway with a doo-doom, which doesn't really give me information. But if it goes doo-doom, hey, the new online casino, I can go like, yeah, whatever. But if it goes like, hey, your cat just died, I will probably go, oh, I should actually read this. So use these capabilities that you're given, all right? And yeah, that's stuff that you should definitely check out. These slides will go online afterwards, so these are links that you can actually click. Situation.js is one link that will not work because I didn't come around to finish it. Situation.js will be a little library and a set of PhoneGap plugins that allow you to actually figure out where your user is, what your user does. All these things that I just have talked before, all the different APIs around the corner in one single interface. So if you're using that library on your Firefox OS phone, it will use the Firefox OS APIs. If you use it in a PhoneGap application, it will probably need to fall back to the PhoneGap APIs. And eventually, it will actually use the W3C standards whenever they are available. RemoteDOM web group, I actually started that, so spoiler alert, take this with a grain of salt, has been approved as a W3C working group a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks or so. And my goal there is to allow you to do what AirPlay allows you to do with native applications on iOS, but for everyone and for the web. So you have a part of your DOM and you say this goes somewhere else. Think of the example with the slides, for example. Yeah, so that's my talk. I have a little live demo I hacked tonight, actually. I can try making it happen. This is fun because I have to type over here, and so I'm like, yeah, let's see if that works. Yeah. Yes, that looks good. So I get a display ID. This is using peer connections. And I cannot actually go in a new window. That is awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. Shift new. Ah, look at that. So localhost 3000. And clickety, am I on my time? Yes. Oh, I hope I copied it. Yes, I did. So this is like the Alex page, but it has the super awesome top stories in my version. And here's live demo went wrong, right? So this gives me some information. Yeah, speaker faces public rage. After blowing up the whole city of Lisbon during famous LXJS conference, speaker notorious live demo failure, Naumann. I'm pretty notorious for actually failing these demos, so do not expect anything. Faces the rage of thousands of people. Developer community suggests forcing him to maintain legacy websites on IE6. I hope that it's actually not going to be that bad. My biggest problem literally is to get back on the flipping other one. Yes, so do not go in present. Thank you, that was exactly not what I wanted. Exit presentation mode. Yeah, that doesn't really make it better. All right, let's see if I can make it like that. And now I need to get back my wonderful other, yes. So this would be what is on the Beamer. The other website would be on my shiny mobile device. So what is this? I have to click over here, right? Because Mac has such a great usability that I just can figure it out without trying. OK, and now I can go over to the other. Yeah, I can totally go over to the other website. And I could say, again, this is like my tablet. So I could go, what is this actually? Who was that man over there that won something? And tells me, oh, look at that. Beginner accidentally wins the Lisbon Surfing Cup. Robert Naumann literally yesterday told me that there was this conference. Guys, you are awesome, really. Apparently, they offered surfing lessons, and I missed that email. And I'm like, thanks for telling me, Robert. So yeah, he won. Apparently, he won the cup, and he's such a great guy, and he didn't really even realize that. And obviously, I have something nice as well on this website, which like gives a nice thing, right? So yeah, and imagine this being on your home TV with a like Chromecast plugged in, or just the TV supports it, and the other one is on your phone or device. Yeah, so I'm going to change back and say, yeah, I'm so not going to change back. I say thank you very much for your listening and attention, and I'm on the wrong window again. And for looking at me failing switching windows, and thank you very much. Enjoy the stay. If you have any questions, any pointers, ask me afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you, Martin.